There's a specific kind of grief that people rarely talk about. It doesn't come from death. It comes from absence. While someone is still breathing, you miss them, but you can't quite explain why, because technically they still exist. They're out there somewhere, living their life, posting online, laughing with other people, yet the version of them that once knew you feels completely gone. This kind of missing is confusing because there's no clear ending, no funeral, no big goodbye that gives you closure. It's just a slow, quiet fading of connection that your body probably noticed long before your mind could accept it. So you're not just missing their physical presence, you're missing access. Access to the way they used to show up for you. Access to conversations that flowed so naturally. Access to a version of yourself that only existed when they were close. What hurts so much isn't that they disappeared. What hurts is that the relationship changed, and it feels like it happened without your consent. People often assume that missing someone means you want them back exactly as they were. But that's not always true, is it? Sometimes you just miss the safety you felt. Sometimes you miss the comfortable rhythm you shared. Sometimes you simply miss how things felt before disappointment crept in and took a seat. When someone is still alive, your brain really struggles to grieve properly. A part of you keeps waiting for a message to pop up, waiting for them to put in some effort, waiting for them to magically return to the person they used to be with you. And that constant waiting, it just keeps the wound open. You find yourself replaying old conversations. It's not because you want to turn back time, but because you're desperately trying to pinpoint when things shifted. You look for that one moment where you could have changed the outcome. You search for clarity in the silence they've left behind. This isn't obsession. This is unresolved attachment. You've bonded deeply with a version of them that no longer exists in the same way, and your nervous system hasn't gotten the memo yet. Missing someone who is still alive often means you're grieving potential. The future you imagined together, consistency you hoped for, connection that felt so real but for whatever reason didn't last. In a way, it's harder than missing someone who has passed away because there's no finality. There's no clear line that says this chapter is over. Instead, you're left with ambiguity. And ambiguity, well, it keeps hope alive for much longer than it should. Remember, you're allowed to miss someone, even if they hurt you. You're allowed to miss them even if you know reconnecting would cost you your peace. Missing someone doesn't mean you're supposed to go back. It just means that something mattered. The goal isn't to stop missing them entirely. The goal is to stop waiting for them to become who they used to be. Because sometimes, the person you miss isn't the person standing in front of you now. It's the memory. It's the version of them you hold in your heart. It's the way you felt when the connection felt safe and whole. And grieving that is real grief. Healing truly begins when you allow yourself to name it. When you stop minimizing the loss just because the person is still walking this earth. It starts when you give yourself permission to mourn what was without needing it to return. You don't miss them because you're weak. You miss them because you are connected. And learning to let go of someone who still exists is one of the quietest and hardest forms of healing there is. Thank you for listening. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more thoughts on navigating life's complexities. Take care.